All right, guys, welcome back. I think today is going to be a faceless video because we're going to work on this aloe plant right here, and I'm just kind of having fun with this. Like this just kind of happened. What this was a whole big aloe plant that was standing up in this pot, and it got way too top heavy because these fronds were getting really big, and it just collapsed. This whole thing just fell over, and I saw when it happened. This was probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe if I just cut this off, maybe it'll resprout, because none of this stuff here was here. It was just this one plant, and thankfully I tend to be a bit of a procrastinator, and I never made that cut, and it didn't take but a week, and all of a sudden these little guys all started popping up right in the middle of the pot. Like it was perfect. Like I couldn't have planted it any more perfect if I wanted to. So at that point, I kind of came up with this thought. They do this with rootstocks on apple trees quite often. Is what I did was I moved this whole thing to our best window, our south-facing window, and I put all these good, healthy fronds right in the glass so that they were absorbing tons of sunlight. And then I started fertilizing this guy. And what I'm doing is I'm actually using all of this to photosynthesize and to create energy and sugars and carbohydrates, almost like an energy source for this. I want this to feed this. So we fertilized it, we put it in a great spot so I had tons of sunlight, and now these things have been growing like crazy. I mean, this is only maybe 3 weeks worth of growth, and we're already at least 4 inches tall. So now I think it's time that we're gonna cut the cord. We're gonna cut this stem off right here, and the whole root system inside here and all that energy and all those nutrients that this thing's been building up is all going to go into just these little plants, and I think they're just going to take off. So we're going to cut the cord on this thing right here. Now here's the killer of it. I mean, this is a beautiful plant. Like, this is really healthy. I mean, it's got great color, it's thick, it's turgid, it's full, and I hate to just waste it. It's aloe. So what I'm also going to do is we're going to take this stem, we're going to cut a bunch of these leaves off, but we're going to leave 1 or 2 of the smaller ones up here. And I'm actually going to try to re-root this piece right here. And then all the leaves that I cut off of here, because there's no way I can root this whole thing, it's way too heavy. But all the leaves that I cut off of here, I'm actually going to use those leaves, and I'm going to make fertilizer, because these things, aloe plants, are just loaded with all kinds of vitamins and minerals and cytokines and growth hormones and all this stuff. They're just loaded with all kinds of good stuff. So all the leaves that we cut off, we're actually going to make a homemade fertilizer with. The stem we're going to root into a pot and try to restart a new aloe. And in the meantime, all of the energy is going to go into these little guys here, and I think these guys are going to blow up. So that's the plan. So we're going to start by making the cut. We are going to cut the cord here on this guy and get this off of here nice and tight. There we go. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dress this pot up a little bit. I'm going to have a little fun with this. I've been focusing more on houseplants lately. We're winter, actually. Ironically, it is New Year's Eve. And I tell you, there's something really sad about New Year's Eve, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting here making a video playing with my plants. I guess that's just a part of getting old. I don't know. But we're gonna dress this up and try to make this a little more pretty too. But for right now, we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna work on this. And like I said, I'm gonna try and make a rooted cutting off of this, but we're gonna get a bunch of these leaves off of here first. We'll make some fertilizer. So I'm just gonna start right at the bottom here. You want a nice sharp knife for this. This is actually one of my butchering knives. I always keep these very sharp. I don't think I've ever mentioned this in any of my videos, but we actually raise pigs. We raise hogs, and I butcher them myself. And I do hunt occasionally. I'm not much of a hunter. I really don't have much time for hunting. But this is one of my butchering knives, and I always keep it very nice and sharp. So we're going to cut these off. And I think I am actually going to take even this one off and this one. Oh man, you can smell that aloe vera gel in here. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so this little bitty little thing here, we're gonna root this up and pot this, and then all these leaves we are going to actually make a homemade fertilizer with. So let's get this thing set up and planted first off, right off the bat. All right, I got my little helper here with me. This is my youngest daughter. So we took this cutting, we just cleaned it up a little bit, got it wet, little rooting hormone. I've never tried to root an aloe cutting before, so I don't know how successful this will be. I've read online that you can do it.
Powder?
But I've never tried to do it.
Right.
But we're gonna find out. So we're gonna get this guy in here, throw some dirt around him, we'll get him watered up real good.
Also, you must.
And see how this goes.
Right.
You know, it's kind of funny, I don't really do a lot with houseplants. I mean, we have some houseplants, but it's really not my thing. Like if you've been following my channel, you know most of my stuff is outdoors. You know, a lot of fruit trees and vegetable gardens and landscaping and things like that.
Also, you're getting.
And I was thinking about it today. You know, it's kind of funny. Like I don't really go and like buy houseplants. My house is like I think of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
Like my house is like the household of misfit plants. Like we just acquire plants here and there from wherever, and kind of like the spider plants that I just did my last video on. And we just make the most of it. And this plant, like I don't even know where this plant came from. We've had this aloe for a really, really long time. I think my wife may have purchased it, like, you know, maybe she was at Whole Foods or something, and they had them, and she bought it so we could have it in case somebody gets burned or something. But and I've got a whole bunch of plants back here, and all of them kind of have a story. You know, all of them are. It's not like I just went to the store and just bought them.
At Whole Foods.
Mommy did buy this at Whole Foods. You think?
I think so.
Or maybe Stop and Shop or something like that. I think that's how this started. I think it was just like a grocery store thing.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna get this potted up. I'm gonna get it watered real nice. I'm gonna put it in a nice location and see if this thing will take off. Okay. And now we'll start with the aloe fronds. We'll get these guys set up so that we can start. I don't want to waste them. I just don't want to waste them. And so I'm going to make some homemade fertilizer out of them. So we're going to start that in just a minute.
What's fertilizer mean?
All right, we're going to take these beautiful fronds. We're just going to cut them up a little bit. And I'm going to throw them in some warm water. I just have it simmering. I got a pot here. Maybe about a gallon of water in there. And I don't want to boil or anything like that. I just want it to be warm because I want to soften up some of the lignins and such in here. Because once these guys soften up a little bit, we're going to whack this with a stick blender. And I think that'll work better if these have a chance to soften up. Peace. All right. And so while that's simmering, we're going to go back and we're going to start cleaning up the plant itself in the pot and try to make that look pretty. Alright, so while we got that stuff simmering and softening up a little bit, we're going to come back and like I said, I'm going to kind of just play with this. I'm going to have fun with it. We're going to neaten it up and try to make it look pretty. One of the things that I'm going to do, I do this every once in a while, I'm going to poke a hole. Exactly. We're going to poke a couple of holes in here. There's a reason why I do this, and I'm probably going to end up making a video about this. And this is not something I do often, but every once in a while I will poke a few holes in my houseplants because it's good for air exchange. Roots need to breathe. Roots are constantly exchanging oxygen and CO2 and things like that. And sometimes in a houseplant situation, you can get like a crust of soil on top, and it can slow down that gas exchange. So every once in a while, I will run around and I'll poke a few holes in my houseplants here, just to open up for some air exchange. And when I do that, I will usually throw a little bit of organic fertilizer in those holes, fill them up.
Or sometimes lemon.
Sometimes lemon. No, we don't put lemon in our houseplants.
I'm kidding.
This is an all organic fertilizer. It's all
It
plant
smells
based.
really good.
And yeah, it doesn't stink like some of your organic products do. So we're gonna put a little bit of that on there. And
And
then,
then lemon.
not lemon, it's lime.
You said lemon.
No, I said it's limestone. We're gonna add a little limestone in here.
Okay.
Many years ago, I actually, for a very short span of time, I did a little bit of work working on interior houseplants commercially. And the guy that ran that business, that owned it, he used to swear, I think that's enough, maybe a little more, that's fine, but that's enough, we're good. He swore by adding a little bit of limestone into his houseplants, and I mean, he had nice accounts. These were big commercial accounts, they had beautiful plants, and so I remember him telling me that. And so again, kind of like punching the holes in there, like maybe once a year, I'll go around and just sprinkle a little bit of limestone in the top of my houseplants.
Limestone?
Okay? And what we also have here, just for decoration, is I got a couple little chunks of stone.
Which is really cool.
This frond here it's already kind of leaning a little bit, so I'm going to actually use this stone to kind of prop that up a little bit.
Which it looks like it's not like.
And then we got a couple more here maybe we can put in
Could I?
just for decoration. I think I'm going to put these two together.
But also, that's really cool. Is that how it looks really pretty?
It does look kind of pretty. It looks kind of natural, right? And then we got this
Oh, the cool
this
stuff.
kind of moss sheet stuff.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe we can tuck
Pretty.
some of this stuff in here. All right. I've had this in my barn forever. I was actually going to use this for another project, and I ended up not using it. And it's just been sitting in my barn for, well, I know it's been 2.5 years. It was my daughter-in-law's baby shower. Okay, I think that's
Lindsay?
good, Ellie. I think we're good, because we don't want to do too much in here.
I think it looks cool.
Point where it
Except for
looks-
this part. This part's still showing.
Yeah, we want to tuck this down here. We don't want it to be
Looks really
in
pretty.
the plant. But
Super
there we go.
pretty.
I mean, that was pretty
It's
quick
pretty.
and simple.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I mean, it's pretty, but I would
it
do.
is a little prettier than it was before, right?
Yeah.
And by putting this rock here, we have a little bit of
Before-
support over here.
I wish we'd shown before and after.
And it's all fertilized and lined. And so,
You forgot
yeah,
a
I mean,
part.
there we go.
Yeah.
Give me 5. That's my girl. All right, so this has been simmering for a few minutes now. We're gonna break out our little stick blender here and see how this goes. I've never done this before, but we're gonna see how it goes. Man, these things are a beast. Just obliterated that. All right, we're gonna let this cool down. Maybe run it through a sieve, see what we got. All right, so probably, oh, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes worth of work, maybe. And we took what was that kind of flippy, floppy, odd looking, but quite healthy aloe plant, and we turned it into this cute little planter here that hopefully, like I said, I'm really hoping that this thing's just going to explode with growth. I mean, it's growing quite fast now, and now that that other piece is gone, I'm hoping this is going to blow up. We got a cutting here that we're going to try to root. I have no idea what that's going to turn into or what it's going to look like or if it's even going to take, but we're going to give it a shot. Like I said, every plant has its story, at least in my house it does. And I just filled up one little mason jar with that fertilizer that we made from the extra fronds from the original aloe plant. I've got about probably a gallon of this. So we'll use that to water our plants with and see if it helps. And that's it. I mean, that's what we've done tonight. And now that that's all done, we are about 10 minutes away from 2024. It's December 31st right now, 11:49 at night. So I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy new year. And I hope that 2024 is healthy and prosperous and we can all continue to grow together. Happy New Year, folks.